Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Modern Investing on Bot TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and our guest today is Jim Eid from Eid Foundation. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Hi, Sasha. Great to be here. Good to
Yeah,
see you.
great. It's Wednesday, and it's a pretty good day.
Yes, so far. Yeah.
Nothing to complain, especially those who have shares of AMD were rewarded handsomely. I don't know, you still have AMD?
Yes, I did. I sold a
Good.
portion, but I kept a chunk, and so I'm very happy about that. They seem to have done a successful pivot to producing the chips that are going to be the after the AI revolution. There's the quantum computing revolution that we're going to experience, and they seem to be able to support that. So AMD, and it's to my surprise, has been. I know they did a successful pivot to producing AI chips, but I didn't see this one coming, and I'm very grateful for it. So yeah, the AMD bounce has been significant. I mean, it's tremendously profitable stock, and I don't know if it's too late to get in now, but I see blue skies on their horizon.
It seems to me it's all going in cycles. Like, okay, you had cheap stocks, you have quantum computing stocks are about to advance, or some of them are already advancing. So you can look at some shares like uh, IonQ, for example, and QBT, and so on. I don't have the stocks, to tell the truth, but I know some people who have, and I'm following this
Right.
stocks to a degree. Right now, I'm more or less, of course, CBDY, the NVDY and
Right.
G- GTXY. That's a big portion of my the fund portfolio. And now I'm starting to short, believe it or not, semiconductors. It's very risky. Right now, I'm in minus on this trade, but we'll see how it will develop because probably more money will start moving into some other promising sectors like quantum computing, maybe some others, because it's very difficult to see that SMH will continue go up forever and ever, and every
Yeah.
day we have another 10% upside. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit too soon to jump the gun, but maybe not. We'll see.
Right. We'll see.
We'll see.
And yeah, I'm not willing to sell them yet, but like you say, we don't know. Everything that goes up must come down at some point, and they can't keep going up. But they still are generating the incredible earnings, and as long as
Yes,
they're
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just sometimes there could be some political situation could change in the world, and there's a lot of factors in play, of course.
well, one of the reasons I'm speculating now, but I think it's accurate. One of the reasons the market is all green today in my screen is the oil prices have come way down, and that's dependent on the whims of mostly the whims of Trump. And he declared a ceasefire. He just declared there may be peace, and oil prices come down. And tomorrow, if he says, which he could do, who knows, we're going to try to bomb Iran and destroy its civilization. And we're going to continue to bomb them until there's nothing but dust. Oil prices will spike, and then the market will go down. So we are at the mercy of the whims of a person who seems to me to be unstable.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why it's very difficult to make any substantial bets on the market, one way or another. Even if you go short, it's very risky because market could continue to climb almost, I don't know, indefinitely. But so far, it's a very impressive move, including the same AMG. AMG has made a very impressive move,
Yeah.
and nobody knows where we are at the end of the day. Intel, for example, based on evaluations, I think NVIDIA is a much less riskier stock than Intel, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's also spiking. Yeah, it's gone
Yeah,
up incredible since the beginning of April.
yeah, it is. But we'll see. I think market forces are very difficult to predict what's going to happen. And I don't know what are the latest news today in Iran. What's happening there? You follow?
Well, they're basically promoting. The White House is promoting the ceasefire, and that they're going to ease the blockade, and so that's why oil has jumped.
Hmm.
And you know, but that can all change tomorrow. It could change later in today. So it's still very unpredictable what's going to happen, and I don't think that it's resolved by any stretch of the imagination, because Iran, I believe, thinks they've done a tremendous amount of destruction of U.S. bases in the Middle East, and they've done this in various countries. Excuse me, let me get rid of that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's right.
and so these things, and we don't know what Bibi is telling Trump when they talk, and um, they might be thinking of striking harder, and but Iran has confidence now that they've survived. They maintain their ability to create missiles and create nuclear. They say for domestic purposes they have the right to have nuclear power, and of course they do. But the danger of having nuclear missiles, and the threat that it poses to Israel is still one of the things, because the regime in Iran, death to Israel is the mantra, and the United States is a great Satan, but the missiles probably range wise threaten Israel, and so Israel has a very, very much of a good reason for concern. But what Trump did was create a war of choice and then asked allies to help, which is backwards thinking. You get the allies together before you take action, not afterwards. And so he's complaining, whining really about the lack of support from allies.
So
And the
there is
allies,
one ally who is supporting US today is United Arab Emirates. They
yes.
announced that they are going to participate in the war against Iran. So there is help right around the corner.
Yeah, and that's true. But what the Danish and the French governments are saying, they are very offended by the way Trump speaks about them, and it's I think he's burning the traditional allies, and even if he adds another one from the Middle East, which is a welcome development, of course, but it's not going to be the same world going forward after the Trump administration, and and I don't think it's a better world.
Well, there is a lot of international conferences and meetings where US these days is not even invited. For example, one big one in Armenia in Yerevan, where all European, Asian countries, Canada participating, US has not been invited. And they're talking about a lot of new businesses and alliances being developed and so on, and US is not part of it. Canada now considers to purchase the aviation, military aviation, more from Sweden, for example, than US. And there are big orders. They're talking about billions and billions of dollars. And US is losing its supremacy as the military supplier around the world. Because it's not just Canada. There are many other countries that are considering purchasing alternative um, weapons rather
Right.
than from
Well,
US.
we're going to be busy restocking our own military,
Yes.
because we have spent so much, and these missiles cost so much, and to replace them, they're going to be in the short term, there's going to be plenty of money for domestic development of the foreign, but defense, what is defense or the Department of War now, I guess. Their needs are going, and hopefully they'll be investing in things that are more what war looks like now, which are drones and things like that, artificial intelligence, so that humans do not have to participate and the lives are not cost. And I think the idea of boots on the ground is no longer something that's worth discussing, but I'm sure Trump is still thinking about it, because the human cost is just too much to contemplate. And
in my opinion, troops on the ground is not even being discussed anymore, because the political consequences for Trump are disastrous. So therefore, it's not even an option. Without foot on the ground, boots on the ground, what exactly you achieved for this couple of months? What? Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz, it was open before the U.S. invasion. So you're now.
It opens up again. It's like it was before.
So it was open already. So what else you achieved?
Not an accomplishment.
You get this stockpile of enriched uranium?
No, he's just trying to get more oil, and of course, he wants to get his son on The Apprentice, because they're talking about doing The Apprentice revival. So Don Jr. might be doing that and everything like that. But I had a quick question for you, Sasha, because I know you mentioned on your show before, and it is your more adopted country of Canada and everything like that. But I did hear, I think it was they be breaking up, and Alberta has voted to actually leave, everything like that. So will they have enough to be their own independent country? And will
Wow. Listen, the same thing happened with Quebec quite a few years ago. They got almost 50% on the referendum, but it was less than 50, so therefore it died, and then they wanted to have second referendum. Never happened. Now with Alberta, it's a kind of a political action. I don't believe that Alberta will ever have enough votes to get out of Canada. But listen, they're entitled to express their feelings, to have a referendum, to work on it, and so on. It's their business. I have no problem with it.
I'm just curious. I'll let y'all go back, but I was just curious about that. I meant to ask you doing World Edition, but I didn't see you were doing that time. So I'll let y'all get back to investments and everything like that. So okay. I was just curious. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah. So if it's investments, Jim, do you think you have to maintain the same portfolio and just wait one way or another what's happening, or do some adjustment or scale down, or what's your view?
Yeah, I think waiting is been pretty much my standard for 2026. The two moves that I have made, APH, which is a corporation that invests in the infrastructure that supports the AI data centers that are just booming across the country. Now, the demand for the energy supply to support these data centers is quite controversial, but there's so much money involved that I think that will be worked out. I don't know how, and I can't predict in what way, but I do believe that they will get it. But there are people that are protesting and voting against it and trying to stop it. How all that works out, I'm not sure. But APH is one of those that's rather than software, it's the physical hardware that connects. And this connectivity is going to be incredibly important because these giant quantum computers need to speak with one another and to connect to one another over reliable connections. And so that's the one company that I did invest in recently. But other than that, the positions that I've been holding in AMD, for example, in NVIDIA and NVDY, as you taught me a couple of years ago, I think that has, paying weekly dividends and that sort of thing. I've actually recommended that to a friend of mine who was liquidating from Meta and Boeing and stocks like that. And he wanted something that would get them out of the market but still have income, and so that's
really good.
Yeah, and so if you really want to soften the market exposure and develop income, that's a good thing. And I did also invest in an ETF in quantum computing because I haven't been able to develop the discernment to choose which one of these companies are going to make it or not.
Scott,
I just kind of thought.
what's the name of that ETF in quantum?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'm not tracking it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get back to you on that. I'll look for it.
No problem.
Thanks.
I know some names really, but I think it's a pretty good idea to have ETF. Although you can invest in 2-3 QBTS, I think is one of them. The Ion Q is another one. And there are some stocks like Rigetti Computers. They were flying a few months ago.
QPUX is yeah.
What's the name?
QPUX. Like we used to talk about CPUs, and then with AI, we're talking about GPUs, graphics-based processing, and now it's quantum processing. So,
I see. Okay. Is it up to date? Probably, yeah.
Pardon me?
It must be up to date.
I would think so. I'm going to check. I have, for some reason, I didn't add it to the monitoring that I do, and so I'm going to update this. Yeah, it's up $5 today.
Nice.
Yeah. So
NVIDIA is doing very well today. It's up.
Yes.
3.5%.
So I'm going to add QPU to my watch list right now.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hey, Jim, you mentioned data centers and everything like that earlier. My city of Durham, we just actually placed a 60-day moratorium on data centers because a lot of cities don't want data centers because of the economic impact. So we just placed a 60-day moratorium. So if they get them, they won't be for another 2 months. So our local city council just did that, I think, yesterday.
And it's also happening in the Northeast as well. So there are protests to this expansion of the data centers, mainly because of the demands of the energy supply. So that where does the electricity come from? Where does the power come from? And will it raise the bills of the citizens in these places?
There was a lot of talk recently about this mini nuclear station. They're very small in size, and they would work only to supply energy for this.
Correct. That means it's one of the potential solutions to the demand of the data centers that's springing up across the country, because everybody that's in this field is investing in the data centers because that does seem to be the future. And these data centers are enormous energy hogs. And so, small nuclear power facilities are one of the options for solving that. With all the potential problems that are associated with that, there may be other alternatives they're looking at. But again, that's going to play out in the very near term future. We'll know more later.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, this AI trade, the quantum computing trade, and others, they're still very popular. They're doing quite well. Cheap stocks are doing well. And, the best way is maybe, when you can't fix it, just let it run and just don't do anything at all.
Yes.
This is probably the best strategy.
It's the same thing we faced with NVIDIA. AMD has gone to a price now that I wouldn't buy it at this price, but if you got in early, it was great. It was fantastic.
The same thing with Intel. I think it's a little bit too late to get into the trade. Maybe there is still some potential. It could go maybe to 150, but I doubt it very much because the valuation is already very rich. It's 100 PE ratio. On NVIDIA is only, 30, 35?
Yeah.
So NVIDIA, actually, I've heard one program just a day or two ago that they're saying that the cheapest stock today on valuation is NVIDIA. That everything ran up so much and so expensive. The valuations are absolutely crazy that NVIDIA is the cheapest stock in
Well, it is only $200, 205, and
No,
You
no,
know,
on a PE ratio scale, the NVIDIA, what they're saying is the cheapest stock because the PE of NVIDIA is maybe 35.
because they continue to report record earnings.
Yeah, so it's 35. Intel is 100. AMD
Yeah.
is probably 150. So
Yeah.
that's what makes NVIDIA very.
Intel has gone up 60% in the last month. So, you know, again, you might, if you're trying to get in today, you might be a little late.
I
But
think so.
yeah, it's a hard call. I think that these types of things are, you know, you have to know yourself as an investor. You know, how much risk are you willing to take, and these types of things. And obviously, you want to get in early and sell high, but you know that's easier said than done. But you know, what I do is I looked at the prospects of the near-term revenues, and if they're going to continue, I hold. And if I see something like we're talking quantum computers, and the quantum computer companies have not yet hit, so when we invest in them, we're going to see some are going to go nowhere, and some are going to explode.
Yeah.
And so, can you pick the stock that's going to explode? You know, you know, Woody did this when I talked about artificial intelligence in the semiconductor industry that was building the chips that were going to support the artificial intelligence. You know, Taiwan Semiconductor was on the list early. You know, I sold that because of geopolitical fears that China might take over Taiwan, and maybe I sold too early, which I think I did. And Marvell was another one I was promoting, MRVL. That has exploded.
Did very well. Yeah.
And you know, so these things, there is a level of predictability in some of these things, and you pick a sector, you focus on that, and you look at its growth potential, and you pick the best companies within that sector as best as you can determine. And its experience helps a lot, more than graphs of the past and the technical analysis of the past. You know, you have to be a little bit more future oriented, like what's really happening in our society. AI is still exploding.
One chip stock which did very well lately, it was Broadcom. It was beaten down. It went down to 315, maybe 320, and now it's over 400. Which was there before. It slided down, but it was over 400. Then it slided down to over 300, and started to recover. So that's an interesting story. Of course, all the cheap story helped it a lot.
Yeah, I missed the boat on that, and I don't spend too much time kicking myself over the missed opportunities. But Broadcom is one of the ones that I do regret not investing when it was cheaper. But you know, there are those examples out there, and you do the best you can in picking which ones have been beaten down and are going to come back. That's the easiest pickings for me, to buy them when the market consensus is that they're not going to perform, and you think that they will, then you're buying them cheap, and you're going to be rewarded. And the track record, it can't be 100%, but if it's 75%, you know, the hits are going to way outweigh the ones that just stay flat, or even those that sink. So it's been a very, very good investment strategy for me.
Totally agree with you, Jim. And well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and the market will continue to climb.
Yes, we hope so.
And so political situation will benefit the market one way or another, hopefully. In the meantime, thank you very much for today's program.
Thank you, Sasha.
And I'm looking forward to see you next week, same place, same time.
Okay. See you then.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.